Hello and welcome to another algebra video with Mr. Thompson. Today we're looking at finding common factors in an algebraic expression. There is another video in existence for this topic. It's a slightly easier one. This is for perhaps more challenging algebra that we want to look at. So let's just work through a few examples. You should know roughly what we're trying to do. We're trying to look for a term which appears an element that appears in each term. So in this one here, for example, I notice that x appears in both of these terms. So I can take x out to the front, and that will give me a new expression of 3x minus 1. So if I multiply that out to double check it, x times 3x is 3x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. So therefore it's nice, simple, finding a common factor. It's a bit more interesting with this kind of thing. And the important thing here is that we get the highest common factor. So yes, it would not be wrong to write that. That would not be wrong, because when I multiply it back out, I do get back to where I was before. But I'm looking for the highest common factor. I'm looking for the thing that I can get out the front, which is just nail the biggest one. So I can see that 4 appears in both terms and x squared. Actually, I'm going to go for 4x squared, straight into the big one. 4x squared. Now what do I need to multiply by 4x squared to get 4x cubed? Well, 4x will take me there. And then that's just plus 1. 4x squared times 4x gives me 16x cubed. And then 4x squared plus 1 gives me 4x squared. Okay, well this is more like it, isn't it? 3 terms to work with, all sorts of things going on here. So the way to do this is to look just one element at a time. I've got numbers, I've got the letter P, and I've got the letter Q. And I noticed that there's numbers, P's and Q's appearing in every single term. So I'm going to be taking out something from each of them out to the front. My number one's easy. 4, I mean I could go with 2. 2 goes into all of those numbers, but 4 is the highest one. So 4 will be the first number out the front. P appears once in the first term, and goes up to squared. So I can only take it out just the once to cover that first term. And Q, I notice, appears in all 3. But again, the middle term only has it appearing once. So basically, I can only take out 4PQ at the front. What does that leave behind? Well, what do I multiply 4PQ by to get 4PQ squared? Well, that's just simply Q. Q on its own will give me 4PQ squared when I multiply it. And the middle term is still negative. So 4 times what is 12? Well, 4 times 3 is 12. P times what's P cubed? Well, P squared is P cubed. And Q just on its own will give me that final Q in the middle term. Finally, 4 times what's 16? Well, it's 4. P times what's P squared? Just P. And Q times what's Q squared is just Q. So that's that one factorised. Right, here's another one. This is kind of interesting. What we're looking for here is we should notice that x plus 5 appears in both terms. So I can just write that. I can take x plus 5 out as a common factor. And I'm left with, well, there's 6, so 6 can go in. And there's y. So that y can go in there. So we're basically identifying a bracket as the common factor and taking it out. Finally, this is kind of interesting. There's a nice little twist to this, because it looks like the things in the brackets might feel like they could possibly be a common factor. But what I want to do with this one is, in this first bracket, I'm liking this x minus 4 thing. If I can somehow make that into x minus 4, then I'd be there. Well, you can do that, because we can rewrite that. I can take out 8 And I'm going to take out this bracket as a common factor, -1. And that leaves inside the brackets -4 plus x. If you think about it, if I multiply -1 by -4, I get +4. -1 by positive x, I get negative x. I'll leave this unchanged over here. Then I'm going to just rewrite that. Well, 8 times -1 is -8. And I'll change that round to be x minus 4. And suddenly, it's looking a lot better, isn't it? Now, I can see that x minus 4 appears in both terms. So I can write that out the front, x minus 4. I should really write -8 plus y, but I like to do it with the minus signs in the middle there rather than at the front. So y minus 8. And that's how we get to that one. So there's some kind of more interesting common factor problems.